Hey Jeff, we've seen you make adjustments here over the past 7 years, but what's it been like this year in particular, having a different starting lineup every week and the amount of new faces and young faces you've had to get prepared to play?
You know, actually, it's been a little bit more difficult, and I say that because OTAs and mini camp and those opportunities that you have with the players, many times we have that situation happen. So guys have a chance to play next to somebody who maybe they haven't played next to before. The communication aspect of it, they become familiar with. So from that standpoint, it's been a little bit more challenging.
Jeff and then Martin.
Jeff, Jordan Mailata actually, obviously did pretty well in his first career start, really at any level of football. What does he have to do to maintain a hold on that job moving forward?
Well, you guys are great because I'm really tired right now. That trip took a lot. Still feeling a little bit like, because we got off that plane, came right in here and started game planning. But your words stimulate my brain. Like right now, the first thing I should have said when I sat down here is, how much I miss Brandon Brooks, Isaac Seumalo, Jason Peters, Andre Dillard. Those are really good players, man. Those are good players. Those are good guys in the locker room, in the meeting room. And to have those guys not around is different, to be honest with you. But to answer the question about Jordan Mailata, Jordan is a unique individual. You just look at the size of the person, the player. You look at how well he moves his feet. That's not normal. That's an unusual type of player, and we look for those guys. From his standpoint, and I just literally walked off the field like 10 minutes ago, and I said these exact words: consistency is the key. You can't have it can't be one day you're doing it properly, the next day you go back and revert to something that isn't the way we teach it to you. So consistency on a regular basis is what's going to enable him. So I just answered your question.
Martin and then Chris.
Hey, Jeff. With a guy like Nate Herbig, I know in the past you've kind of said you don't really like moving guys around and everything, but you moved him from right guard where he started the season to left guard. And I was kind of wondering why you decided to make an exception, in that case, and how he's kind of doing overall. Thanks.
To be very honest with you, which I always am, I really don't. I think you deserve that. You guys work your butts off, and so Matt Pryor was for him it was a little different on the left side. Nate Herbig, he and I had a meeting. He's like, Coach, I'll do whatever you want me to. I played on the left side. It doesn't affect me. I've coached players here in the past. Al Barber was, a left side player. When you moved him to the right side, it was challenging for him from a balance standpoint. Some players are like that. For Nate, it was not any issue at all. So that was the best. I could put guys in a better position to make it. No man is an island. You must draw your strength from others, and to be able to make that move with Nate, it was better for all of us.
Chris and then Les.
Hey, Jeff, going back to 2017, when you how did you first hear about Jordan Mailata, and what were your initial thoughts on the pro day that he had?
Well, I got a call from the scouting department from Howie and the guys, and literally that was the week. We had a few days off, actually. We were getting cut loose, and I had a golf trip set up with high school friends, and I was like, you're killing me, and I said, I got to do this, So I heard about this guy from Australia. I canceled that trip, and I went and I went down to Florida and worked him out, and I was like, you come away from these workouts like Lane Johnson's workout when I went down to his high school in Texas. I was blown away. I was like, wow. And I told Mr. Laurie when I got back, I said, I'm telling you, this is a wow. This is a wow thing. This is unbelievable. Blew me away. I wasn't quite like that, but I was like, this guy's different. Big, giant guy who can move his feet, change direction, has enough flexibility, but needs to learn like how to use his hands, how to use his eyes, all the little things. The guy's never played football before. What was his mental toughness going to be like? What was that Pop Warner days that you used to be grinded as a little guy, and you were brought how toughness of football, were brought into you. He hadn't done any of that stuff. So there was a lot of those question marks, I think, in my mind. But I just said to the guys, I said, this is an unusual guy, and I don't know what's going to happen, but if he's hanging around later on, we should look at this guy. And so I'm very happy he's here.
We have time for a few more, so we'll go Les, Dave, and then John.
Hey, Stout. With all these young guys playing together now, are stunts and twists and games really difficult? They haven't played together. They haven't played much at all. Is there any way to accelerate their recognition of these things and handing things off smoothly, or do you just kind of have to live with it?
No, we're not living with it, Les. You know what? I wish I had a tape recording in my meeting about passing off games, and I don't care if you've been playing next to somebody for 10 years, okay? The acceleration, you used that word, okay? The recognition and the sense of urgency, okay? A tenth of a second makes a huge difference. A call by a particular player, telling the other guy, like lickety split. These are all major factors, and you're either gonna pass that off. I call it forcing the switch. You're either gonna get that done properly, or you're gonna be 1/10 of a second late, and someone's gonna penetrate a gap, and it's not gonna be great. It's not gonna look good. There's gonna be quarterback's gonna have to scramble out of the pocket, all those types of things. So it doesn't matter. I mean, it obviously helps if you have guys around for a longer enough time, but it's really about the individuals that are doing it and the responsibility that they have, and then understanding the sense of urgency and the accelerated, like how fast you have to do it. In this league, the guys on defense are so fast. So fast. So some of these younger college guys, they do this in college, and they're able to get away with some of these things, but that's number one. Les, the other thing is, if you notice the set lines of the guys and how what they try to do on defense is create space and keep guys off levels, so they can get. So we work on these things all the time. We talk about them. It's really up to the individuals, their job and how they're going to do it. They've been coached on what to do and how to do it. How fast are they going to do it? That's on them. That's like, are you going to respond or not? Like, here's what I'm telling you. Now get it done.
Go ahead, Dave.
Hey, Jeff, it's obviously quite an accomplishment for Jordan within 3 years of learning a sport to start a game. For you, it has to be quite an accomplishment, too, being his coach to get him to that point. Do you feel that sense of personal pride over his success thus far?
I feel I'm not into, like, I mean, I'm being honest. Again, I get a lot of gratification when I watch a practice or a film of a game film where I see, like Les was talking about, where I see guys like silky smooth. They're passing off a game. The quickness of it, like Lane Johnson and Brandon Brooks banging off a game, or Jason Peters and Isaac passing off a game like they've done it a billion times. I call it 10,000 kicks. When I see that on film after drilling it and coaching it, that's really where I get. That's when I become. I really feel good about what we're doing and how we're doing. And when I see a guy like, let's just pick a young player like Luke Juriga, who I see progressing every day, that means a lot to me. Okay, I don't really want to. I really struggle. It frustrates me when we can't continually, get a little bit better every day. Just keep climbing and stacking days together. If we're stacking those days together, if the individual's stacking good days together and they're locked in and they're focused and they're kind of like I told Jordan, it's got to be consistent. Told prior, consistency. We can't go up and down and have setbacks, and then it's got to be consistent. And a lot of that comes with being detailed, being focused, because we really give them a progression. I'm a progression teacher. If you follow your progression and you just keep, like, sometimes it gets boring. It's so boring that Like Jason Peters has taken the same set for 15 years. He never gets tired of it. That's why he looks so good at it. If some of these other guys would just follow what some of the older guys are doing, and they're trying to teach them, and they would learn from some of the older guys, they would be way better off.
Last one here with John.
Hey, Stout. With Jordan, I remember the last time we talked to you, which was before the season, obviously, and you kind of said you didn't know. You thought he took a big step forward in the virtual meetings. You thought everything was going in a positive direction. I'm just curious, as you kind of lined up for that San Francisco game, did you know Jordan was ready to take that step and handle things so well?
I mean, I could sit here and say absolutely. I could say I think that I've been extremely confident all the way, even in the preseason. I felt very strong in the summer. I felt very strong that this was going to be the year that he really showed who he can be as a player, because he's learned a lot of these, like, all the little things that you have to learn as an offensive lineman. I felt he was ready to go. What he would do in the game and how he would react when he got the game time. Would he remember the little things that we train on every day? I keep telling him, rely on your training. Rely on your training. Sometimes a player goes in, not sometimes, many times a young player goes into the game, and then the game's over, and they're like, what did I just do? I didn't do anything that I was working on or training. And so from that standpoint, I'm proud of him for that. But he still has a ways to go, and he still has a lot to learn. And the one good thing is he's a very unique individual. The guy can move his feet and change direction, and he's so big. It's hard to get around real big guys now.